My name is Ellen and I'm an artist in Bristol, and today I'm excited to show you how to make these toy boats. So the idea with these is that you can put your toys inside or anything you can find, any objects that you found, and then you can float them along water and they float really well. So you could put these in a bathtub, or you could take them to St George Park and find some water there. And if you made a few, you could even race them. So let's get to it.
So, to make your boat, these are the things that you'll need. All of these you should get in your art kit this week, or if not, there'll be a few bits and bobs that you'll have had from weeks before, like the pencil and the rubber. So all in all, we have some sticky vinyl, different coloured card or paper, some string, an old plastic tub, some water, your paints, a wooden stick, this is just a kebab stick, some sellotape, a pair of scissors, a pencil, a paintbrush, and a rubber. So the first thing we need to do to make your toy boat is decorate the base. Now this is going to be what your toys can sit in and what floats along the water. And at the moment it's looking kind of dreary and plain, so we're going to make it a bit more interesting. What we've got for that are all these different sticky vinyl colours. So you can choose a couple, whichever ones you want to use. You can use as many as you like. I think today I will use the pink and the orange. So I'll just put those other ones to the side. Now you can decorate your base in any way that you like. I think today I'm going to put some triangles around the side. So the first thing I do is get my scissors and I cut some strips from the vinyl. Now this is just a flexible plastic with paper on the back that you peel off and it leaves a sticky surface. So it's great for making shapes and sticking them on. After I've cut my strips, I'm going to cut diagonally, and this makes triangles. So I'll do a few of those. And I'll do a few in pink as well. So you could do circles, you could do squares, you could just do long strips, you could make heart shapes, star shapes. If you don't feel confident that you'll get the right shapes straight away, what you can do is take your pencil and just turn the vinyl over and draw on whichever shape you'd like to make. So you can draw on a triangle, a circle, any shape that you'd like to have on the outside of your base. And then you can just cut round the shape you've made to be sure that you've got the shape that you want. Like that. So once we've got all of our shapes cut from the vinyl, we can peel this back. It's a little bit tricky sometimes. If you find you can't get it off, you can ask an adult to help you. There we go, we got there. So, once you've got your sticky on one side, smooth on the other, put the sticky side onto your base wherever you'd like it to go. So I'll put this one here, like so. And then we'll put an orange one on. That one there. I think I'm going to make mine alternating pink and orange. Starting to look a bit more colourful now. So now that the front and the back are covered in these bright orange and pink triangles, I'm just going to add a strip of colour to each side. So I'm going to use the orange and pink again, and on one side I'm going to go with pink. Just pop that across there. And then on the other side, we're going to go with orange. So just check it's roughly the right length. I think your toys will enjoy being in such a brightly coloured boat. Line it up with the top and then just stick it down. Make sure it's nicely stuck. So now we have colour around the bottom of our boat. Now that might be as much colour as you'd like on the bottom, but I think I just want to put some colour on the inside. So I'm going to keep with my orange and pink for now. And I'll cut off these holes so that we've got a nice block colour, and I'm going to stick this in the bottom. Like that. And then I'm going to add another piece of orange on this side. So the way that I'm working out the size is I just place it down, line it up to the other one, and just roughly have a look at how far along I'd like to cut the line so that it fits. So just cut that there. It doesn't matter if it's a bit big or a bit small because it's just to add a bit of colour. So I'll just pop this in next to that one. I'm lining up the middle, making sure there's no plastic visible, and then just sticking that down. So now the base is nice and colourful. So in order for your boat to be able to travel across the water, it needs to have sails. So sails help the boat travel by using the wind to power it. So we'll be creating some big billowing sails using this coloured paper. So I'm going to choose a colour. I think I'd like yellow actually, nice and bright. First you want to take your scissors, just cut it in half. So you'll be keeping hold of one half and putting the other to the side for now. So we want 2 different size sails. So this will be my small sail. And I think I will choose green for my big sail. The next thing we need to do is decorate our sails. I've just found a jar, an old jam jar. This was in our recycling box, and I've cleaned it out and I've popped some water in there. That way we've got something to wet our paints with. So take your paintbrush. If there's not a paintbrush with your paints, then there should be one in your art kit. There should be another one. So have a rummage around and see if you can find that. And then really it's up to you, whatever you'd like to add to your sails. So you could put stripes on, you could do big circles, you could do zigzags, you could do a big swirly whirly random mess. I think today I'm going to do kind of polka dots. So for the green sail, I might add some yellow. And I'm just going to put dots round the whole of the sail. Almost looks like splatters of rain, doesn't it? And I'm also going to add a pink. I think the pink will be quite a good contrast on the green. This is a really bright pink as well. That's showing up well. So have a play around. You could draw your family on the sails. You could write your name. Maybe a pet or your favourite animal. I think that's pretty good. So then I'll clean my brush in between changing colours. And now I'll paint the smaller yellow sail. Now for this one, which colours shall I choose? I think I'll choose this light green. It's good to really rub the paintbrush on the paints for a while with the water, and then you get a thicker, brighter colour. Sometimes they take a while to loosen up. And again, I'm going to do the same polka dot style. And one other colour. What shall I choose? I think blue. These are going to be very visible sails. You'll be able to see this boat from across the bathtub or across the sink. If it gets a bit dry, just add a bit more water, pick up a bit more paint. So, now we have our 2 sails. We'll let those dry and then we'll come to the next stage. Here are some other examples of flags and sails that you can make. So this one here could be a great little flag. This is just cut with scissors 2 little triangles. These 2 here are painted. You could paint your favourite animal or a pattern that you like. This one has paper stuck on top, 2 strips of paper stuck on top of this yellow card. And then there's some paint on the top. This is a mixture of paper and the sticky vinyl. So you just stick that vinyl on top. This is a great big red stripe. That looks brilliant against the white. This is a mixture again of the sticky vinyl and the yellow paper. And this one here has just had string attached through the back and then is knotted at the front, which gives it that curve. And then some funky zigzag painting on the front. So now that our sails are dry, we want to put them onto our mast, onto our stick. So it can be a bit sharp, this. We want to find a way to safely put holes through the paper. So what we're going to do is use our rubber. You can see it's been used for this before. There's already a few holes in it, so don't worry about messing up the rubber. You can still use the rubber at either end. So we're just going to, we need to put holes at the bottom and at the top of both of them. So we're going to line up our rubber with the bottom of our sail, and then with our pencil, because it's quite sharp, you can just push through. And then when you take the sail away, you can see there's a little hole here. And I'll do the same on the other side. Just push through with your pencil. Give it a wiggle. So there you've got your two holes. We'll do the same with the small sail. Line it up with the rubber. Keep your fingers out the way, and then just push your pencil through the paper. Wiggle it round. And the same on the other side. Push your pencil in, give it a wiggle. So now you've got your 4 holes in your sails. So next you want to thread them onto your stick. So we'll start with the small sail, and using the spiky end, push this through the first hole from the front to the back, and then turn it over and just push the stick back through from the back to the front. And then slide it up so it's near the top but not at the very top of your stick. And then we'll do the same with the big one. Push it through from front to back, turn it over so you can see the stick, and push the stick back through the hole. So now you can see our sails are taking shape. And if you remember from the example I showed you earlier, we're going to have a couple more flags up here. So now we're going to make those. We've got some different coloured card from before. I'm going to choose this orange and this pink and this white. So we'll be making 2 different flags, and I'll show you how to make both. So for the first flag, you want to make it a little bit bigger. So this flag is going to go slightly lower down. And usually this flag would represent which country you're from, or culture, or where the boat started. So really you can add here anything that you like. I'm going to just make up an imaginary country and an imaginary flag. But you could add a drawing of something that represented your culture or your country or the area that you live, or a shape that represents that, or a colour. Really anything you like, or you can just do some funky patterns or some funky shapes. So I'll move these other colours out of the way for now. We'll be using those again in a minute. So I would like the back of my flag to be orange. So what I'll do is I'm going to make a rectangle shaped flag. So I'll chop this paper in half and then chop it in half again. And I'm going to add a strip I think. Actually, I'll add my strip in white because it's a good contrast to the orange. So if you want to make sure the strip is the right length, you can place the flag up against the card and just make a little mark. So then I know to cut close to that mark and it'll be roughly the right size. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect, you can always trim it down. So I think I'll make it quite a chunky strip. Just chop that to the edge. So that's going to sit on there. There's one other material which I forgot to mention you'll need, and that is your glue. So we're actually just going to glue this onto here. I'm going to put this paper down so I don't get any glue on my surface and just glue on top. So make sure it's nice and covered, all sticky into the corners. And then pop it down wherever you'd like your strip to go. Oh, got stuck to my finger then. Next, I'm going to add a circle in the middle. So what you can do to make sure it's the right size or shape is you can just draw around with your pencil. And then you can follow this line when you're cutting. Again, it doesn't have to be exact, we're just adding some funky colours and patterns to brighten up our boat so that our toys have a fun adventure. I'm going to put that circle in the middle there. So I'll just stick that down. And pop that on top. And you can see here there's a little edge. If you want to, you can trim that down. It's really up to you. So I'll pop the lid on the glue stick so it doesn't go dry. Get rid of the bits we're not using. So next we want to stick our flag on just above our sails. So the first thing you need to do is find the end of the sticky tape. That's always hard. So cut a little bit of tape. Turn over your sails so they're facing away from you and pop the tape over the middle of the stick. And don't press it down, just leave it like that. And then you can take your flag and turn it the other way round and stick it on the other side of the stick. Just tape it down. And then when you turn it over, you've got your flag and your sails. So the next flag we're going to add is a little simpler and a little smaller. So again, you want to choose which colour you'd like to use. I think I will use, what haven't we used? Maybe this dark red pink one. For this one, you want to cut a little strip and then cut out of this a little triangle. And then you have these flag-like tails that float in the wind. And then choose your length. So I think I'm going to make mine a little bit longer than the flag below. So I'll chop mine off about here. Put put aside the bits we aren't using. And then turn over your stick again. Take your tape. Pop that onto the stick right at the very top for this one, because it's the final flag. And then you can stick your flag on the other side. Just press down, make sure it's secure. And there you have your sails and your flags, nearly ready to go, nearly ready to sail. So now that we've built our mast with our flags and our sails and our base, our boat where the toys will sit, we just have to join the two together. Now this can sometimes be a bit tricky because it's slippy and slidey, so grab an extra pair of hands if you can. So what we're going to do is take some tape and then we want to stick our mast to the back of the boat so that our toys have somewhere to play. So just pop some tape over the front of your stick and then stick that down into the middle of your boat. Now I'm going to add a little bit of reinforcement, so I'm just going to take a few more strips of tape and just put a few extra pieces down here to make sure that the stick stays in place whilst we're on our adventures across the sea. And I'm going to do one more just for good luck. The last part that we're going to add to the boat is some rope. So often when people are sailing, they need to have rope so that they can tie their boat to the shore. So we're going to put some rope around the front of our boat. So to do that, you take your scissors and carefully just cut through the two front corners of the plastic. Sometimes it's a bit stiff, but you'll get there. And then you choose your coloured thread. I'm going to choose yellow. And you want enough and a little bit more than the front of the boat. And then all you have to do is tuck the string through the slits that you made. Trim off any bits that are extra long, and then if you want to secure these two parts, you can just take some tape and just stick them down, and that's nice and neat. And you can do the same on the other side. And there you have it, your boat ready to set off to sea. Maybe you want to make a few of these and race with other friends or family. You could take them to the lake at St George Park, or you could race in the bathtub, or see how many toys you can fit inside a boat and float in a bucket.